Welcome back to another episode of the Builder Studio. Today we're going to be showing you how we built this mid-century modern entertainment unit. Stay tuned for some tips and tricks and we'll be right back. So you can see this is just a very simple mid-century modern style entertainment center. For this project we needed to go ahead and glue up some panels for our overall box as well as our shelves and dividers. To do that, I used the reverse joint method that we showed you in a previous video. I'll link that up here as well as in the description. You can check that out for a full tutorial. Now, with our wheeler legs and cleats, we went with the 14-inch angled leg mounting cleat. These come in a wide variety of sizes and wood species. Now for our legs, we went with the 6-inch wheeler leg, and I went ahead and opted to have the hanger bolt service install done. That is an option for you on our website. You can have the hanger bolt service done and it'll come to your door shipped with the hanger bolt already installed. Let's go ahead and jump into the studio and we'll take a look at how we did this. So our lumber of choice for today is poplar. Now the reason we're using poplar is because it tends to be a more cost-effective option, especially if you're gonna paint and stain. We're gonna stain this with gel stain today. So this actually stains really nice with gel stain. We've got our cleats and poplar and our feet. We're gonna set these to the side for now and come back to those. We're gonna go ahead and cut our boards. Now the final dimensions for this project are gonna be 70 inches long by 16 inches high. We're also gonna have it at 16 inches deep, which is what we have these boards already milled to. So in order to cut these miters or bevels, whatever you wanna call them, we need to get a straight edge here. Now it's gonna depend on the width of your saw base. I went ahead and measured and got my line exactly where I needed it, and then just clamp my straight edge down. Now I'm using my level here because it's got a nice smooth metal edge. So now that we have the main outside portion of our box all cut, we're gonna go ahead and add a chamfer to that inside detail. Now I think this is just gonna add a really nice detail to our project. Being that we're using thicker 1-inch material, it's gonna take some of that weight off and just add a nice little detail there that you wouldn't otherwise have. So there's really no correct measurement. I've got my blade set to 45 degrees on my table saw, but in terms of how far or how little you want that to come in on your piece is up to you. It's totally up to your preference. Since we're not going to be adding datas for our shelves and instead we're going to be kind of floating them, we're going to go ahead and glue up our overall box. So we're going to have to do this in pieces since it's so big. Or we're going to use the painter's tape method that we've used in other videos. You saw that in the floating nightstand and the walnut watch box. And then we're going to finish it up and just do an 1.25" staple into those miters. We're not going to do it on every seam, but it's just going to add some strength, ensure that it's staying stable while it's drying. So as you can see here, this is where our 1-inch dividers are gonna sit. But now, since I want this to be a little bit more modular of a system, we're not gonna dado these. And then on the top, we're gonna do a little spacer block. So you'll see more of that later. But let's go ahead and get our dividers cut to size and then we can figure out what size shelves we need to do. Okay, so now that our box is dry, I'm just kind of loosely sliding our dividers in so we can get an idea of what our shelves need to be. So I'm gonna take my square and just make sure that we are in fact square all the way across. So I'm gonna pull measurements first just to get the dimensions that I need for these two shelves, and we'll get everything tacked in place. Okay, so now that I've got my shelves cut and ready to go, I'm gonna first mark where I want my strip to go. Now, we're gonna take this little nailer strip here. Instead of bringing it all the way to the front, we're just gonna bring it just shy. With how low this unit's gonna be by the time you get your shelf on, you're not gonna see it. I'm just gonna mark the center there. That's what I want the center of my shelf to fall. And I'm gonna do that for both sections that are getting shelves. And now we can cut our nailer strip to size and get that tacked in for our shelves. So before we move on to tacking our shelves into place and installing our wheeler legs and cleats, we're first gonna sand everything and then add a gel stain to it. If you're interested in a more in-depth video about finishing, I'll link a video up here as well as in the description. You can check that out. But for now, we're just gonna go through, sand this, add a nice finish to it, and then we'll come back and throw our legs and our shelves in. So now that we have our shelves pinned together, we are ready to install our cleats and our legs. These are 14-inch cleats, and this is a 16-inch wide cabinet, so I'm just gonna leave an inch overhang on both sides. In terms of how far spaced out I want them to be, I'm gonna bring them in 3 inches from the outside because I want them to stick out and show a little bit. So it's very simple to install these. What I'm gonna do is just mark out where they need to go. Then I'm gonna pre-drill into this wood. I'm gonna pre-drill with a bit that's just smaller than the screw that I'm using. That way I'm not gonna split or crack any of my wood. Screw length is gonna depend on your project needs, what lumber you're using. We're using inch thick material, so I'm gonna choose a screw that's gonna get me enough grab and countersink and accommodate for my cleats as well. Now in terms of my legs, I went ahead and opted to have the hanger bolt service installed. That is an option on osbornewood.com, an option to have that service done for you so you don't have to worry about drilling a hole through the top and installing a hanger bolt. Now obviously there is a way to do it without that. I'll reference a video up here that you can check out how to do that, as well as in the description. Now that I've got my cleat installed, all I have to do is just take my wheeler foot and spin it till it's tight. And that one's installed. And I can take this one and install it as well. And both of those feet are installed and ready to go. That's a super easy process for mid-century modern. And it's a great resource to have. All right, that's gonna wrap it up for this build. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're interested in any of the products that we used in this build, be sure to check out the links in the description. You can also find a Builder Studio playlist where you can find more videos from the studio. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave us a comment if you have any ideas for future builds. Be on the lookout for new videos, and we'll see you next time in the Builder Studio.